Hi, welcome to 7 Facts, the channel where you'll surely find a video about every single country on Earth. In today's video, we're going to explore Northern Ireland, but keep in mind that there's a playlist containing all the British territories, so be sure to check that out too. Also, please remember to subscribe if you wish to see the 2 new videos I upload every Wednesday and Saturday. Northern Ireland is a part of the United Kingdom, and it has been since 1922. It does have its own parliament and government, however, is it a country? Legally speaking, there is no defined term to describe what Northern Ireland is. It's referred to as a country, province, or region. This is mostly because of how this entity was created and the decades of violence it provoked. Legislators avoid adopting a legal term because no matter what you call Northern Ireland, you run the risk of provoking someone. But more on this later. What you need to remember is that today Northern Ireland is a part of the United Kingdom and separate from the Republic of Ireland. The region that is now Northern Ireland was the bedrock of the Irish War of Resistance against English programs of colonialism in the late 16th century. The Kingdom of Ireland was controlled by the English, but there was much Irish resistance. The northern part of that kingdom has been subject to English Protestant and Scottish Presbyterian colonialism, while the rest of the kingdom remained mainly a Catholic nation. Resistance to these attempts have been marked by violence over the centuries, and in an attempt to quell sectarianism, the government of the Kingdom of Great Britain pushed for the 2 kingdoms to be merged. Thus, in 1801, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland was born and was governed by a single government based in London. This, however, didn't resolve the problem, and there was a clear divide between the 6 counties of the north and the rest of Ireland. By the end of World War I, there was a clear sentiment of complete independence from the UK in Southern Ireland. But by 1921, the 2 regions were partitioned and ruled from Dublin and Belfast. The partition happened during the Anglo-Irish War, the Independence War fought between the Irish Republican Army, or IRA, and British forces. The end of the war saw the creation of the Irish Free State, but the government of Northern Ireland chose to opt out of this deal and remain within the UK. In the late 1960s, conflict between state forces and Protestant unionists on the one hand and Catholic nationalists on the other erupted into 3 decades of violence known as the Troubles. This conflict claimed over 3,500 lives and caused over 50,000 casualties. From 1969 to 2003, there were over 36,900 shooting incidents and over 16,200 bombings or attempted bombings, all associated with the Troubles. The main paramilitary group of the conflict was the famous Provisional Irish Republican Army, or IRA, who sought to remove Northern Ireland from the UK and create a single united Irish state. The 1998 Good Friday Agreement was the first major step in the peace process, including the decommissioning of weapons. But this was a long process, as it was only in 2005 that IRA declared an end to its campaign and the disarmament was completed. Today, however, due to the UK's decision to leave the European Union while the Republic of Ireland remains an EU member, there is fear that the conflict may erupt again. Reinstating borders between the 2 sides could ignite violent clashes. This is not a far-fetched idea, since sectarianism and religious segregation still remain major social problems, and since 2005, sporadic violence has continued. The capital and largest city of Northern Ireland is Belfast. As you might expect, Belfast is a rainy city. It experiences at least 157 rainy days a year. But don't let that discourage you, as Belfast is one of Europe's most stylish and beautiful cities. And in the past, it used to be one of the main industrial centers of the continent. By the early 1800s, it was one of the world's major ports and a key player in the Industrial Revolution. Industries thrived, including linen, rope making, tobacco, heavy engineering, and shipbuilding, and at the end of the 19th century, Belfast overtook Dublin as the largest city in Ireland. But Belfast also suffered from the intense riots caused by the political issues of the island even in the 19th century. During the Irish War of Independence after World War I, 500 people died in the city, one of the bloodiest periods in Belfast history. During World War II, the city was again heavily bombed by the Germans. In just one raid in 1941, bombers killed 1,000 people and left tens of thousands homeless. Starting from the 70s, Belfast was a major scene for the Troubles, during which over 1,600 people were killed. It was in this period that Belfast was considered to be one of the planet's most dangerous cities. All this violence meant that Belfast lost most of its industrial power. But since the violence stopped, the city once again rose from its ashes and is now an official global city. Let's talk about a particular shipyard in Belfast, Harland and Wolff. These guys are one of the major shipbuilders of the world. They built the majority of the ships intended for the White Star Line. If you don't remember what White Star Line is, they were the company that ordered and operated the Titanic. That's right, the Titanic was built in Belfast. But the company also built the Titanic's sister ships, the HMS Britannic and the RMS Olympic. During World War II, 6 aircraft carriers and over 130 other ships were built here. All the while, 22,000 vessels were repaired in its shipyards. It was in this period that Harland and Wolff employed 35,000 people. The company still exists to this day, but now 75% of its work is based on offshore renewable energy. Still, it's important to know that this Northern Irish company was one of the greatest shipbuilders of the world. You've probably seen this image countless times on the internet. Now you get to find out where on earth is it. In Northern Ireland, of course. It's called the Giant's Causeway and it's a truly magnificent sight. It's a formation of 40,000 interlocking basalt columns formed by an ancient volcanic eruption from 50 to 60 million years ago. When the lava cooled, the contraction fractured it horizontally, thus forming the weird-looking columns we see today. Of course, when people first saw the columns, they thought of something else. Legend has it that they are the remains of a causeway built by a giant. The story goes that the Irish giant Fionn MacCumhaill was challenged to a fight by the Scottish giant Benandonner. Fionn accepted the challenge and built the causeway across the North Channel so that the two giants could meet. But he then hides from Benandonner when he realizes that his foe is much bigger than he is. Fionn's wife, Una, disguises Fionn as a baby and tucks him in a cradle. When Benandonner sees the size of the baby, he reckons that its father, Fionn, must be a giant among giants, so he flees back to Scotland in fright, destroying the causeway behind him. One of the world's greatest life-saving devices was invented in Belfast, the Portable Defibrillator. In 1965, Professor James Francis Pantridge, together with Dr. John Geets, realized that many heart attack victims would be dead by the time an ambulance arrived. So they modified the hospital's defibrillator using 2 car batteries, thus inventing the world's first portable defibrillator. By putting their devices in various locations, their invention saved thousands of lives throughout the world. Pentridge is today considered the father of emergency medicine, since he also developed the modern system of cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, and the mobile coronary care unit. His emergency treatment plan was adopted throughout the world, saving God knows how many lives. And there you have it. These were 7 facts about Northern Ireland. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts downstairs in the comment section, and afterwards check me out on Facebook and Twitter. A good way to offer more support to this channel is through Patreon, link in the description. I hope to see you next time. Bye.